Okay, driving while ADHD. This is Brian. I haven't made a video in a long time. Sorry about that. This video should give me a segue to make others, though. So what I want to talk about here is if you have ADHD, I want you to notice some predictable things that get you into disasters. So I want to call this video like preventing disasters. In disaster, that's a big word. We could say mishap. We could say things that get you into trouble. So let me start with like a super practical one that can lead to trouble that you can avoid. Basically, don't let your gas tank in your car go below like a quarter tank for a number of reasons. The big one being, if you have ADHD, it's very likely you're having trouble getting on time to meetings, getting to work on time, getting to different events on time. You know, by almost running out of gas, needing to get gas on the way to something, especially in the morning, you're just going to add aggravation and confusion to your day. Also, if you live in an area like me, which is a little bit cut off from things, slightly rural place that also has wildfires and earthquakes, there is a chance that, you know, I might have to do an evacuation, and I want to have my car at least, you know, have enough gas to leave. Or here's another huge one. There's a good chance if you have ADHD that you might be doing some self-medicating, including alcohol. I'm not here to judge you, trust me. But if you are using alcohol for different reasons, and then you find yourself writing emails to people, texting, expressing your emotions, arguing, that is a huge, huge thing you want to look at and avoid. I'm not saying right now don't drink. I'm saying don't do the second part, especially the email one. You want to talk about getting yourself in trouble. Professional email when you're super tired or you've been drinking. And then if that goes into writing, you are very likely to get yourself into some trouble. All right, here's a really simple one. And it's just going to sound almost like, yeah, well, no, duh. But zip things up and close things up. I can't tell you how many disasters I've had by dropping something really important, like a document, my wallet, a few times, phone, because I haven't like zipped up my backpack, my bag, or my jacket or whatever. So just close things up. Do the famous sort of like every time you're about to leave your whatever setting you're in, like, right, for me, it'll be my car, or maybe it's your office or whatever. Like, stop, look behind you, make sure everything's zipped up, locked up, and then move on. Okay, another one. Here's a good one for professional work. If you have ADHD, it's very difficult to wrap up your projects at work, to finish your tasks. So I have a rule for myself that's been working for a couple of years now. I do my boss's work first. What I mean by that is the projects that my boss assigns to me, those are the ones I try to close out first before I do my other ones, even if they're the projects that I don't really want to do, because that's really going to be the measure of if I'm doing my job. My other projects, she might even not really know that much about in terms of, you know, all the different details that I'm working on, but there's certain ones that like are what I call deliverables. Do those first, okay? All right, here's another one professionally. Someone asks you to have a meeting, to make an appointment, to get together, anything, and you don't have your calendar handy, or you don't check your calendar, you're very likely to double book. That's another thing that can lead to a disaster a week from now. So make a rule for yourself. You don't make any commitments to anybody, specific commitments, events, calendar items, until you check your calendar first. You must do that first so that you don't double book. Okay, and finally, this is a very ADHD one. Not everyone with ADHD has this problem, but I would say most people do. And I'm even going to include the inattentive types. Definitely the extroverted, more energetic ADHD type of people have this problem. But even the inattentive form of ADHD folks have this problem, which is listen to that voice that says right at the second you're about to do it, I probably shouldn't say this, but okay. So you're in a professional setting, you blurt something out that's maybe a little off color, maybe that's a little too personal, maybe that makes somebody else look bad, basically whatever's running through your head, and it just comes out. Really try to identify that feeling. It should manifest as a feeling. Maybe a feeling in your chest, maybe a feeling in your head, maybe a feeling of excitement that you're about to say something funny. And even if it is funny, check yourself. Try to save that type of behavior for safer places, informal settings, or with even professionally, maybe with people that are, you can trust. But be careful when you're in settings that you're not familiar with, certain types of meetings, that type of thing, and where you're just going to get yourself into trouble, and it could lead into a kind of a professional disaster for you. And of course, speaking from experience, every single one of these things that I've talked about tonight, I mean, a lot of them are just part of being human, regardless of ADHD. But I think the difference is, although all of these things I've mentioned happen to everyone, I'm going to make an argument that they probably happen to people with attention issues a lot more. And here's the good news for you. Yours aren't probably exactly like mine, but you have these things that you can do prevention on. And really, this thing is, if you start to notice what those are and see how they surface and notice your patterns. Oh, I keep doing this thing where I get into trouble. I've done it 3 times this week, whatever. Once you start to notice those patterns, that's an opportunity for you to create some awareness and to be able to create strategies. Thank you so much for listening. And I don't think I've ever said this on any video, but I would like it if people would subscribe. I have a very simple goal. I wonder if I can get past 1,000 subscribers. Anyway, thank you.